Hi, I'm Peter. Welcome to my video about my trip to Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. I visited some of the most famous landmarks in the world, including the White House, the Washington Monument, and the National Mall. Let's explore this historic city together. I arrived in Washington, D.C. full of excitement. The city is known for its history, politics, and monuments. I couldn't wait to start exploring. My hotel is near the National Mall, which is perfect for visiting all the famous landmarks. After settling in, I headed out to see the city. The National Mall is the heart of Washington, D.C. It's a long park that stretches from the U.S. Capitol to the Lincoln Memorial. On one side, you can see the Capitol building, and on the other side, the Washington Monument. I stand in front of the Washington Monument, looking up at the towering structure. The Washington Monument is really tall. It's the tallest structure in the city. You can even go inside to get a view of the entire city. As I walked through the mall, I saw so many important monuments, including the World War II Memorial and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. These places honor the people who served in the military. My next stop was the Lincoln Memorial, which honors Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It's a very famous monument, and many important speeches, like Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech, happened here. I stands in front of the large statue of Lincoln, looking up at it. The statue of Lincoln is huge. It's amazing to see it up close. Around the memorial, you can also read some of Lincoln's most famous speeches. From the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, you get a great view of the reflecting pool, which leads all the way back to the Washington Monument. It's a peaceful place to sit and take in the history of the city. The U.S. Capitol is one of the most important buildings in Washington, D.C. It's where Congress meets to make laws for the country. I took a tour to learn more about how the U.S. government works. The Capitol Rotunda is beautiful. The paintings and statues here tell the story of American history. It's amazing to think that so many important decisions have been made in this building. After the tour, I walked around the Capitol grounds. There are gardens and paths where you can relax and enjoy the view of the city. Next, I went to see the White House. It's the home of the President of the United States. I couldn't go inside, but you can still get a good view from the outside. I stand in front of the White House, taking pictures through the gates. It feels special to stand here and see the White House in person. So many important decisions are made inside this building. The White House is surrounded by beautiful gardens and parks. It's a nice area to walk around and learn more about the history of the U.S. government. Washington, D.C. is also known for its museums. The Smithsonian museums are free to visit, and there are many to choose from. I decided to visit the National Museum of American History. The museum has so many interesting things to see, like the original Star-Spangled Banner and exhibits about American inventions. It's a great place to learn more about U.S. history. There are also museums about science, art, and even space exploration. You could spend days just exploring the Smithsonian museums. I wanted to visit the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, which honors one of the greatest civil rights leaders in U.S. history. The statue of Dr. King is carved out of stone, and the surrounding walls have his most famous quotes. I stand in front of the statue, reading the quotes on the walls. It's inspiring to be here and read Dr. King's words. His fight for equality changed the United States and the world. My last stop was the Jefferson Memorial, which honors Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. The memorial is located by the tidal basin, and it's a beautiful place to reflect on history. Inside the memorial, there's a large statue of Jefferson, and on the walls, you can read some of his writings. It's a peaceful and inspiring place to visit. The view of the tidal basin from here is amazing, especially in the spring when the cherry blossoms are in bloom. It's a perfect spot to end my trip. Washington, D.C. is a city full of history, monuments, and museums. I learned so much during my visit, and I hope this video inspires you to explore the city as well. Thanks for joining me on my trip, and see you next time on my next adventure.